Welcome to another dojo topic. Today, our conversation was about, is your healing journey holding back your success? So if you've ever had some inner healing and you feel like, I healed that. Like, what could possibly be going on now? That's been taken care of. What's going on? Then this conversation might be something that will interest you. Maybe it's why you were here today. So with that, I'm going to share my screen with you so that you can see the topic that we discussed today. And again, we have these conversations live every single Tuesday virtually at the dojo. You are welcome to join us. And if you can't join us live, then I really hope you are enjoying these weekly videos that I put up every Tuesday, because I put up a new topic every Tuesday. And, each topic stands alone. But if you go back and you look at like today's topic, and then you add it to last week's, and then the week before that, then you see how they all are building on top of each other. So if you've got this empty toolbox and you're looking for more tools, like how do I fill up my toolbox of awareness and synchronicity and all of these concepts, then I invite you to subscribe to my channel, or just remember to come back every Tuesday, check these out. And something really resonates with you, keep at it, keep listening to it. Gosh, there are some books, videos, things that I've listened to for, I don't know, over and over and over again, because sometimes, we'll hear things newly. We'll hear something and then that'll make sense. And then we listen to it again and they're like, wow, I didn't realize that, or I didn't catch that the first time around. Well, that's because, we just, as your awareness expands, you open yourself to being more open to new ideas, new thoughts, new opportunities, and one thing leads to another. The information is all here. So today, again, our topic is your healing journey holding back your success? But before we go any farther, I want to remind you that last week's dojo topic was about going beyond the mind. So we talked about consciousness and awareness last week. So if you didn't join us live or have not yet seen the video, I'll put a link to that at the end of this video so that that's easily obtainable for you. All right, so today, before we go any farther, since we're talking about success, let's take a minute and define what success is, because I could be thinking about success as, I don't know, running the quarter mile, but you might be thinking about success as, I don't know, losing 20 pounds or making $1 million, or so, for the sake of this conversation, be very, very clear on what your definition of success is. How are you defining it? You'd be surprised at the people that I work with who say, okay, I'm in business and I need to make $1 million. But then when we get down to the numbers, they realize they don't actually need $1 million to feel successful. That might be a goal that they want to reach, but sometimes we can get things stuck in our heads and we think like, oh, until I have that, I won't be successful. So knowing like the starting point, where are you now? How are you defining it? And remember, every definition is simply, it's an invitation from the mind. It's like, do you want to accept this or don't you want to accept this? So for the sake of this, you may want to pause the video even and define what success means to you. Because does it mean better relationships, more money, your own business, better health, more clients? Your inner healing was the key part of your awakening, and you've personally experienced its transformative power. You already know what success feels like, right? Whatever that thing was that you transformed. For me, I share this all the time because it's part of the work that I do. People want to know, like, what makes you qualified? Why are you doing what you do? Well, my childhood was full of secrets about the mental abuse, verbal abuse, physical abuse that escalated to sexual abuse by the age of 12. And so when I decided at the age of 18 or 19, like, I'm not keeping these secrets anymore, I'm going to start talking about this. I thought that's what made me empowered. I thought that's what made me successful. And then I started studying martial arts. I became a student, competitor, and teacher in the martial arts. And I'm like, oh, this is empowerment. This is what makes me successful. But it wasn't until I started paying attention to the spiritual teachers who were working with me, the metaphysical teachings that I was learning. Oh, now I understand that everything starts from within. And then when I decided that I just wanted to teach this, I'm like, everybody needs to know this. This is so transformative. I mean, my gosh, when I was in my 20s, if someone had told me that it is possible to live a life without feeling the negative feelings and emotions that went along with the story of my childhood, I would not have thought that was possible. So that started me on this path of wanting to do this work. Now, does that mean that, okay, all was said and done? But no, that's part of our spiritual awakening. And sometimes we can have an awakening and bada bing, we're done, we're ready to go. And other times it might be little awakenings, we just keep adding to that. But that's why it's so, so, so important for us to not um, allow our healing journey to hold us back from our success. And that's why today's topic might be really, really inspirational for you or supportive for you if this is something that you want some answers to. And I'm guessing that you probably have been asking questions to the universe. Otherwise, you would not have attracted this video. So, along with that, I want to remind you too to keep in mind the healing trap. Because so many times we might think, well, I've done the transformative work, I've done the inner work, it's done. Now I know that I can do this, and I know what's possible. We might even go on like I did and create a business around it, and we're teaching others how to do that. But we can fall into that healing trap when we something takes us back into that, but it's something that we don't even pay attention to, maybe something we're not aware of. And a great example of that I'll share with you for me was, I had been teaching this and doing this work for over 20 years. And then when my marriage of 32 years ended in divorce, and I'm going through divorce, and I just felt like the bottom fell out of my world. Now I was doubting myself. Now I was really thinking like, okay, but everything that I have healed, it's not getting me through this. Or I was even telling myself, like, okay, I know how to do this. If I were my own client, how would I be doing this? But everything felt like it was falling apart for me. So that was an invitation, right? I could say, I don't really have the right to keep doing this work. I don't really have the right to keep teaching this, to be in front of audiences and talk about this information when my life is imploding or falling apart. But recognizing that healing trap and recognizing that was my opportunity to say, oh, wait a minute. No, I know this is something that I am really called to do. I know what a difference it's making in my life and the lives of others. So what can I do about this? And, as I move forward, that was when I said, all right, I'm going to be fully transparent. And that's when I published my first book, and it went on from there. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to put your life out in book form or anything. But what I'm saying is, whatever your journey is for you, but pay attention to the healing traps, because, once you notice what the trap is, you can see it as an invitation. It's just simply like, do I want to accept that invitation? No. Um, I see it as an invitation to take myself into that primal state of being, like, oh my gosh, I can't do this, fear. Primal state of being is that fight, flight, or freeze, like, I can't do this, I'm afraid, what do I do? What if people, are judging me? And then we have a powerful state of being, right? That powerful state of being, which feels like happiness, love, laughter. And powerful state of being is who we are. That's our natural state of being. But we can choose, do we want to live from a powerful state of being, or do we want to live from a primal state of being? And of course, goes without mentioning, your state of being is how you feel in any given moment. So our healing journey is never ending. It never ends. But that's the value of inner work, right? We always have this opportunity to say, okay, I understand this inner work, this healing work that I did got me to this space, this awareness, this knowing of who I am and what I am. Now, because I know how to do that, when something else comes into play, I can use that same teaching for the next and the next and the next. Because it's like I mentioned a few weeks ago, inner work is like removing a stone from your shoe. Once you recognize what's bothering you, you can remove it and be pain-free. Instead of allowing a divorce to hold back my success, I realized it was just another stone. And life is full of stones, isn't it? We're always going to be finding those stones. So here are a few signs that your healing journey may be sabotaging your success. Because let's face it, success feels like happiness, doesn't it? I mean, if you want to be successful, whatever that definition was that you wrote down earlier in this video, you wrote that down and as your definition of success because you believe that obtaining that will create happiness for you. You will feel happier having obtained that. So, I mean, why else would we be even looking for success or living within success? And, you know, there are some signs that we can pay attention to that might sabotage. So, for instance, I just put down 4 here. You might come up with some of your own. But if you're constantly looking for that next breakthrough before moving forward, now we tell ourselves, okay, I'll be happy when I have that next breakthrough. I'll be happy when, and success and happiness, they go hand in hand. When you are defining success as a certain something to obtain, you think, okay, I'll be happier when that happens. But if you're holding back your happiness, waiting for that breakthrough, waiting for that successful moment, you're always going to be waiting because what you're doing is you're actually denying the happiness that you are. Our natural state of being is happiness. I don't remember who said it. It was not me, so I'm not taking credit for this, but I think it's really worth saying right now is it takes nothing to be happy, but it takes effort to be unhappy. And think about that. To be unhappy, we have to first of all stop and notice something. Well, that doesn't make me happy. And then you tell a story around it, and then it's efforting. And remember, life is meant to be effortless. So if you have unhappiness, you're feeling like you're not successful, that you're unsuccessful, something sabotaging your success, be aware of what's going on in your mind. What are you thinking about? You might have a fear of outgrowing relationships or communities that focus on healing. Now, you know, when I was going through my divorce, divorce is a great example of this. What is the one thing that we fear in divorce? Like we fear the letting go, even though maybe there was drama or trauma around the relationship before the divorce or as you're going through the divorce. I usually think of divorce as 3 stages: thinking about it, going through it, and putting it behind you. And however you are experiencing any of those stages of divorce, it will reflect on the other 2 stages. So we might, as much as we're thinking, okay, I just need to put an end to this, the way things are going right now. But then because we don't know the future, we tend to get in our minds about the what ifs. Well, what if I'm not going to be successful at no longer being married? What if? And that's where we can really sabotage ourselves. So, or, you know, using your healing work as escape. when you tell yourself continually, like, okay, I have one more thing that I have to fix, one more thing I have to let go of. This must be a limiting belief, which is why I can't figure this out or why I can't manifest this. So when you use healing work as an excuse for why you don't have what you want to have, or why the success isn't the way you want it to be, because somewhere along the line you came into this understanding that inner work, inner healing, whatever your word for it is the way to free your mind, so to speak. Now you might tell yourself, like, well, okay, I'll be happy when I heal this, or I'll be happy when I get rid of this limiting belief. So really pay attention to whether or not you're using healing work as an escape, and over identifying with past wounds. If you're always talking about, well, when this happened, when I experienced this, just watch for these signs. These are just 4 that I came up with, but you might come up with more on your own, because you'll never be fully healed, and you don't need to be. Success is about integrating healing, not waiting for it to be complete. That's really worth hearing. Okay. Even if you have to rewind and what did she just say? I'm going to say it again. Success is about integrating healing, not waiting to be complete. There will always be more stones, just like I said. So let's talk about shifting healing through inspired action. Now, I'm saying inspired action because when something is inspired, when you feel inspired to do something, it's effortless. When you feel inspired to take a nap, it's not like someone's forcing you. You feel inspired, like this is something I want to do. So let's talk about inspired action. And this is something that I think about a lot. Reframe healing as a continuous process, not a requirement for success. Take aligned action when you feel imperfect. Recognize that the best healers, coaches, and leaders are still evolving, especially if you know yourself to compare yourself with others. If you're always saying, oh gosh, but I'm not as good as that person, or that person seems to have so many more followers, or watch for that. And then replace self-doubt with trust in your journey and ability to serve yourself and others. Watch for I, me, and my statements or thoughts. These thoughts are putting you back in the energy of your healing journey. It's like the reason that you decided to do the inner work, the inner healing to begin with. I help people. My business is, if only my children would understand me. My to-do list feels endless. I, me, and my statements come from the mind, and your mind is not who or what you are. Our healing journey is part of the awakening process to self-realization. So watch for patterns of thought about what you believe you need and where you think it will come from. Source is the source of your supply, not your clients, not your pension, not your business, not your food, or even the workout program that you have. Those are all channels. Just like the garden hose is the channel to bring the water, but not the source of the water. And then be willing to be vulnerable. Vulnerability starts with yourself, your thoughts, and your intentions. Are you acting on your greatest joy in any given moment and doing and thinking about things that truly make you happy? Be vulnerable. Allow yourself to ruminate, to go within and to reflect and to be honest with yourself, like, okay, what are the thoughts that I'm thinking? Am I falling back into old patterns of habit, old patterns of thought? Am I noticing this? Because sometimes, depending on the journey, it can feel fearful. Like, I don't want to go back there. I don't want to be like I was before I had that awakening or that healing journey. And we have that fear that something might go back to the way it was. So we don't want to be vulnerable in our thoughts or what's going on. But the cool thing is, you can't go back. You can't unknow something. You can know something and not practice it, but you can't unknow it. If you've truly healed that thing that was blocking your success, you'll know it because fun, excitement, happiness, joy, and excited anticipation are now your state of being. You know, like, yes, life is wonderful. I am enjoying my life. I'm ready to party like purple every single day. Anything you resist becomes energy trapped in the body, creating a barrier between you and happiness. This is how your healing journey can rope you in and hold back your success. It's like all of a sudden, like I was on this path to greatness and inspiration and loving my life. And I just felt like something yanked me back and pulled me back in. Something just roped me right back into those negative thoughts. Now, remember, that's you. You're choosing it. You're accepting the invitation. So what invitation are you allowing to rope you back into those negative thoughts? Because your mind's telling you, I've already healed this. This can't be what's bothering me. It can't be that. I've already healed it. But the thing is remember when I talked, the example that I gave about divorce, I was thinking, okay, it can't possibly be anything to do with whatever I healed before the divorce. But it doesn't mean that there's not layers to it. So one of the things coming from the childhood that I came from was one of the healing opportunities that I had was about not feeling wanted, not feeling loved, not feeling part of something. And I mean, really, what can make you feel not part of something that other than a divorce? I mean, think about that. Now, all of a sudden, you're not part of that family. You're not part of that household. You're not part of that. Now, that might seem like, well, okay, we can work through that. But if you are an entrepreneur, if you have your own business and you are looking for clients, but you feel unwanted, rejected, like nobody cares, I mean, you're putting that energy out there. That's going to dispel clients, man. That's going to just like push them away. So it's important to know that the healing journey that got you to where you are might be and probably still is part of something if you're not experiencing the success that you really say that you want. Now, again, go back, define success. What does it look like for you? What does it feel like for you? What does it sound like to you? What is your definition of that? And then be vulnerable and say, okay, where is this showing up or not showing up in my life? How am I allowing myself to be roped right back into this? Watch for awareness of your negative feelings, such as gloominess, frustration, stress, overwhelm, all those things we create when we try to do more instead of just be. Think of this cow. She's just watching you. Pay attention. Watch yourself. And if you think of the cow watching you, maybe you can let yourself laugh. Like when I saw this picture, I'm like, ooh, this is perfect for the slide. Just something that will just take you from that seriousness of, oh, there's frustration to, oh, yeah, okay, I'll just pay attention. Just going to watch, not judge myself. Because the success you're looking for is all around. Unless you've convinced yourself there's something you need to do, be, or have before you can shine your light. Climb out of the darkness you've put yourself in. Own your story as a source of wisdom, not limitation. Show up as a leader while continuing your personal evolution. Focus on impact rather than waiting for perfection, and keep walking in your light. How did that feel for you? I'm inviting you to just step back for a minute and go, wow, how did that feel? And then I'm also inviting you to go back and maybe rewatch, because sometimes for me, I like to watch the video all the way through when I'm learning from other people and just see like, what is the whole story here? What is the whole message here? And then when I go back and then take notes, because it's like part of me says, wait, I just want to know the whole thing. And then I'll make up my mind what I want to do with this. So think about that. Like, What are you feeling right now? Can you see how your healing journey quite possibly, that's not even good grammar, but all right, could quite possibly hold you back from the joy, the happiness, the awareness of what you are? And everything is an invitation. Am I going to allow this to hold me back? Or am I going to decline this invitation and say, all right, no, I'm going to choose to be the best me that I can be, the most loving me that I can be. And that doesn't mean you have to wait for love to come from another person. It just means love yourself, love who you are, love your journey. There's no better statement, I think, than that statement. Life is not a journey. Life is not a destination. It's a journey. Everything's a journey. And we get to decide, how do I want to travel this path? What invitations do I want to accept? Do I want to keep those secrets that are holding me down in mind, body, and soul? Or do I want to talk about it and get it out? Am I willing to work with someone and get it out of me? Or am I keeping it all bottled up inside of me? These are all invitations. You can accept or not accept. They're your invitations. You can join us every Tuesday at the dojo. We meet virtually. You can go to my website, masteringyourbeliefs.com, poke around, see what calls to you. You'll know. But there's something that you've been putting out there. There's a reason that you attracted this video. And for whatever that is, it is my sincerest wish for you that something that you've heard here today will inspire you, open something up for you, will create an awareness for you, and that it'll be part of you loving you. In the meantime, this is Nancy Muller, the one and only Life Sensei, walking in my light. Have a fabulous day. Ciao for now.